Hey everyone! In this video, we're going to dive into the fundamentals of cells, cell theory, and what makes them tick differently. Ever seen an ostrich egg? Those things are massive, like 15 centimeters long. Bet you never thought of it as one giant cell, huh? And those chicken eggs you're frying up? Yep, cells too. Ever cracked open a hard-boiled egg and spotted a tiny, dot-like thing? That's the egg cell's nucleus. The nucleus is a subcellular critter, also known as an organelle. We'll dive into what organelles are all about later. Here, I've laid out diagrams of a few animal cells. Just a heads up, they're not drawn to scale. Ever notice the stark difference between plant and animal cells? And even within the plant kingdom, the cellular diversity is mind-blowing. Organisms fall into two camps based on their cellular makeup. Bacteria, some cyanobacteria, some archaea, yeast, and some algae are single-celled organisms, meaning they're made up of just one cell. Prokaryotic cells represent an earlier stage in the evolutionary game. They lack a membrane-bound, proper nucleus, sporting instead a coiled DNA strand, sans membrane. More often than not, they also have plasmids or circular DNA hanging about. Cells sporting a well-defined nucleus? Those are your eukaryotes. They represent the evolutionary high rollers. Think plant cells, animal cells, yeast, and your classic multicellular fungi, all card-carrying members of the eukaryote club. Alright, let's break down the tenets of cell theory. First off, every living thing is made up of cells, the fundamental building blocks of life. Simply put, cells are the basic units of life and, get this, all cells come from other cells. Back in 1838, the German dream team of Matthias Jakob Schleiden, the botanist, and Theodor Schwann, the doc, dropped a bombshell, cell theory. Besides Schwann and Schleiden, a couple of other scientific heavyweights contributed to our understanding of cells. There's Antony van Leeuwenhoek, who first clued us in on free-living cells. And let's not forget Robert Hooke, the celebrated Englishman who spotted those honeycomb-like compartments in cork, which he dubbed cells. Therefore, the plant cell serves as the fundamental structural and functional unit in plants. It's the very cornerstone of plant life, with each plant cell originating from pre-existing ones. Plant cells are specialized to do different jobs. Some are all about photosynthesis, whipping up grub for the plant. Others keep the plant upright, bending but not breaking. Then you've got the cells that are growth-obsessed, stretching out and reaching for sunlight. And don't forget the delivery teams. Some cells are like food trucks, hauling nutrients, while others act as water carriers, keeping everything hydrated. In plants, you typically find both living and dead cells. Xylem cells, for instance, are usually dead. These cells, reinforced with lignin in their walls, provide structural support to the plant, helping it withstand physical damage. Let's chew the fat about what cells actually do. They crank out energy via cellular respiration. Think of them as little storage lockers in plants. Beetroot root cells, for instance, stash away sugar. Phloem cells ferry food around, while xylem cells haul water. And those cells with walls fortified with lignin, they're the plant's structural backbone, pure and simple. Cells, each with its own designated job and build, come in all shapes and sizes. Their makeup varies, and what's inside, the organelles, differs in both type and amount from cell to cell. Some even hoard unique compounds, like those methyl esters you find piled up in soursop. Key building blocks of a plant cell. Alright, let's dive into what makes up a plant cell, piece by piece. First off, you've got the cell wall. Then, there's the cell membrane. Inside all that, you'll find the cytoplasm. And of course, you can't forget the organelles. Plant cells are kitted out with these organelles, among others: cell wall, chloroplast, nucleus, nucleolus, microtubules, rough endoplasmic reticulum RER, smooth endoplasmic reticulum SCR, Golgi apparatus, lysosomes. More often than not, both plant and animal cells sport similar organelles. Animal cells also differ from each other structurally and functionally. Remember those diagrams I showed you at the start? Let's frame animal cells within the context of cell theory. Animal cells are the fundamental building blocks and working units of, well, animals. They're the basic units of life, plain and simple, for anything that hops, skips, or crawls. And get this, every single animal cell comes from a pre-existing animal cell, a concept brought to light by none other than Theodor Schwann, the German physician who dropped the mic on cell theory back in 1838. Different animal cells are built for different jobs. For instance, red blood cells ferry oxygen around, while neurons handle signal transmission. Organelles are like the tiny organs inside your cells. Take the nucleus, for instance. It's the cell's control center, calling all the shots. Plus, it's in charge of passing down the organism's genetic goods. And mitochondria? They're the cell's power plants, pure and simple. A cell that specializes in secretion might be flush with SCRs. Some cells are jam-packed with M. Muscle cells? They're practically bursting with mitochondria. And nerve cells? Well, they're strung out, often stretching the entire distance of your body.